Well, it's official, ladies and gentlemen. He started from the top, from the bottom, and now has ascended to glory as becoming the new face of fear, a god among men. But let me get to that in a moment after I talk about the rest of the show. Hey everyone, this is Near Reality Entertainment. We just got done with Elimination Chamber, also known as Escape in Germany, for a variety of controversial reasons that I'm not going to ever go into. It has to do with Nazis, but that's beside the point. We can ultimately skip the kickoff show because Mojo Rawley and Kurt Hawkins, they had whatever match. Like, I didn't care about the investment. Like, there was no fuel. Like, the only build up I've heard we got was Twitter exchange, and maybe a confrontation during the kickoff of SmackDown Live. So, the pre show. So yeah, nothing really is accomplished here. So basically, this is just, oh, we gotta get a pre-show match on the kickoff show. That's a checklist now because I don't know. But now we got Mojo Rawley and Kurt Hawkins going at it, and that was a waste of time. So yeah, no one cares. Now let's get to the actual show. Becky Lynch versus Mickie James. And let me go first, like saying that this, I looked it up. This was the first ever pay-per-view in WWE history to feature 3 women matches, which really shows how far the women's revolution has come a long way. Not Mickie James, whereas Becky Lynch and Charlotte were making match of the year quality standout performances and being the only women's match on television. WWE was adding quantity on SmackDown Live and actually adding more storylines to them and giving them character development and actual logical motivation instead of hot potatoing the championship. So yeah, what would be better? One high quality feud that was getting match of the year but also having hot potato, or 3 standard quality storylines with the women actually getting more screen time than usual? Yeah, it's hard to choose here. However, what I was surprised was that Becky Lynch defeated Mickie James. Now, Mickie James concentrated mostly on Becky Lynch's arms in order to weaken her eventual disarmor and eventual pinfall attempts. But I was surprised Mickie James lost because really I thought they were going to try and build her up. Like, they keep bringing out that, oh, she's ring rust, she hasn't done anything in 7 years. And then JBL points out the logical, obvious answer that she's been wrestling all over the world. TNA! And they don't want to talk about that certain company on the variety of, well, we can't talk about that certain company unless it's talking smack. Or anything that involves Daniel Bryan, because I'm pretty sure Bryan is at this point trying to get fired by bringing up something that will piss Vince off. So, yeah. Anyways, Mickie James lost to Becky Lynch, and in a surprising move, in my opinion. Like, I was expecting Becky Lynch to take the fall so Mickie James could be built up. But looks like we'll have to settle for this then. We'll see how they'll do with Mickie James later down the road. Like, she's still in this big feud, probably. So we'll see how this goes. Now we got Kalisto versus Apollo Crews. Kalisto and Apollo Crews versus Dolph Ziggler. Right before the match actually started, Dolph Ziggler snuck attacked Kalisto and threw him into the LED board on the stage, which made for the most of the match Apollo Crews versus Dolph Ziggler, and then Kalisto joined late into the match and ultimately got the victory for his team. Well, Apollo Crews did, but he pretty much had turned the tide. And Ziggler went into an emotional outrage and attacked both of them and crushed both of Apollo Crews' legs with steel chairs. I think it was the same one, but I could be wrong. But there's just one major flaw other than the short match, and also I will give it credit that they were trying to do something different with handicap matches. Like, normally when you think of the word handicap matches, it's just the lone face versus a group of heels. No, instead it's reversed, so there's a reverse psychology here for once. So at least SmackDown's trying to be somewhat innovative, even if it doesn't work. Because the reason why I say it didn't work is because everyone was cheering, "Thank you, Ziggler! Thank you, Ziggler!" Because no one likes Apollo Crews and Kalisto. They're two not as bad performers. They're great performers in their own right. But when you compare the personalities of Ziggler and those two, Yeah, they're pretty much interchangeable. So unless they start adding more character development for us to care about these two characters, yeah, Ziggler's just gonna get more and more cheers. Now let's get to a match that surprised me at how long it lasted, and that's the Tag Team Turmoil match, but ultimately it was just, okay. American Alpha versus the Ascension versus the Usos versus Heath Slater and Rhino versus the Vaudevillains and versus Breezango. Now it started off with Heath Slater and Rhino coming in at number one, and they were facing off with Breezango, who they were eventually eliminated and by Heath Slater and Rhino. And then the Vaudevillains came in, eliminated by Heath Slater and Rhino. Then the Usos came in, eventually eliminated by Heath Slater and Rhino. Eventually were eventually eliminated by American Alpha, but then first they eliminated Heath Slater and Rhino. And then they brought up this. Now, after that, this is where things got interesting. They hadn't addressed this for months and months and months, but they sounded well, the commentators, which I'll talk about after the part after when I get to the Elimination Chamber. Anyways, they talk about the Usos feud with American Alpha that hasn't been talked about for months and months and months and hasn't even been addressed. Like it just stopped, and now they're building it back up again. And then what happened after American Alpha eliminated them? It looks like we know what our WrestleMania match is going to be for SmackDown's Tag Team Champions, because the Usos attacked American Alpha, and it looks like they're not done with them yet. And then the Ascension comes out and looks to chip at the bones. But no, we get the convoluted Superman story booking of American Alpha retaining. And I hear no one complaining about this. No one's complaining about this. And this prompted everyone to say, well, they just beat everybody in the tag team division essentially, so what's really left for them? Well, yeah, you're right. We have to bring in some fresh faces, and there's only one team that can do it. And no, not DIY. I'm pretty sure they're going to be divided and thrown into the Cruiserweight division on Raw. Unfortunately. No. We need a revival of the tag team division on SmackDown. Yeah, I'll shut up now. So, yeah, American Alpha has retained their titles, and really this match was entirely pointless because this was just American Alpha establishing dominance, and you got the entire tag team division out of the way now, so like I said, that's one of the weakest points of SmackDown. Like, they have everything else going, but they can't seem to work the tag team division right. Like, they could make interesting storylines and add in character development instead of just, oh, happy-go-lucky good guys who are just really, really talented. Like, you had Heath Slater going for him. Like, though, of course, that was pretty much a self-angle going on. And then it evolved to a tag team matchup. So, why can't they do the same thing with American Alpha? Let them develop their characters, then do a big storyline. No, I'm pretty sure Vince will be against that. So now let's get to Nikki Bella versus Natalya, which is quite honestly a disappointing match, to me at least. It lasted longer than I anticipated, though really part of me is not surprised considering this is Nikki Bella and Natalya, and compared to Naomi and Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch and Mickie James, okay, maybe to an extent Mickie James and Becky Lynch, this feud was more personal and more volatile. And I gotta be honest, this was disappointing because it looked like they made the same mistake again with this time with Nikki Bella and Natalya, whereas previously they made the same mistake with Roman Reigns and Triple H versus Randy Orton. They had the storyline built up for this war of attrition, and it looks like it's going to be downright violent and volatile, but it's not. It's a scientific wrestling match when really it should have been built up as a huge brawl. And ultimately it ended in a double count out. Like, and there was way too much Cena references. Like, I get it, Nikki Bella's dating Cena, and there's always going to be that doubt over regarding Nikki Bella's success. Like, is it because of Cena, or is it because of actually her? Though, it's probably also likely Cena. because when Nikki Bella was not dating Cena, she was relatively pointless to WWE. In fact, wait, didn't the Bella twins forget to renew their contracts and they left? And WWE didn't even care about reminding them. They just didn't care. But when Nikki Bella started dating Cena and Brie Bella started dating Bryan and eventually marrying him, then all of a sudden they get this huge attention. Like, they're the most noticeable girls in the room. They're dating the top guys here. So, yeah. And wasn't Nikki Bella Divas champion at one point, then lost it a week later? Kind of shows the whole, why should we believe that this is not John Cena's doing? Like I said, that doubt's going to be there for the remainder of her career. So yeah, that's both her, like, she gets to, like, I don't care what she does in her personal life. If she wants to date John Cena, fine, date John Cena, but it's kind of being a detriment to your career, kind of. Since now the only storyline she's having is mostly Nikki exposed storylines, where, oh, this wrestler has legitimate motivation to go after Nikki Bella, yet they try to demonize that woman, and vice versa. Now, Nikki Bella and Natalya, they tried to be violent with each other, but ultimately they were so restricted with the scientific wrestling match that, it wasn't working. And with all the Cena references, it kind of got annoying. Natalya doing the "you can't see me" attitude. So when Cena eventually does it on his matches, it becomes really, oh god, can they just stop doing that for one day? Though, of course, people like to make jokes that they can't see Cena, therefore they can't see Natalya. And that's pretty much it. Like, after the match ended in a double countout, they brawled again. And then afterwards, Natalya escaped and Nikki Bella got interviewed and Natalya attacked her again. And then you got a hint of Maurice's involvement potentially in this feud, since Nikki Bella crashed into Maurice's makeup and all that powder went on her dress, which would explain why the Miz again wasn't that into the Elimination Chamber. So yeah, they just hinted strongly that we're gonna see Nikki Bella versus Maurice, involving the Miz and John Cena. So now let's get to a match that was the second best match of the night: Randy Orton versus Luke Harper. Now, this was the match I was interested in mostly because he had the motivation. The Wyatt family is the top storyline going on right now in WWE, on SmackDown Live at least. Like, they have all the part-timers going on Raw. But Randy Orton versus Luke Harper, I was interested. Like, they had the storyline. Let's just see if they get a great match out of it. And boy, did they get a great match out of it. Because, like, they were throwing moves at each other that was left and right. And, oh, let me get back to Nikki Bella. Like, she was doing some movesets she'd never done before. So that adds some depth to her wrestling repertoire. So, yeah, I can give her a compliment on that. But back to Luke Harper and Randy Orton. Randy Orton, the dominant Viper. Luke Harper, this vengeful, fallen, excommunicated Wyatt family member who wants to get pretty much his dad's attention. Like, it's, like, yeah, you could make the argument it's kind of annoying to see that, oh, Luke Harper and Randy Orton, they're just fighting to get Bray Wyatt's attention. But now Luke Harper's separated from him after attacking Bray Wyatt, and I don't think Bray Wyatt's going to take him back after a while. Maybe a year or two from now, if SmackDown's logic continues to go at this rate. So, yeah, Luke Harper and Randy Orton, they pretty much was close to stealing the show if they didn't have the Elimination Chamber match, especially how it ended. Oh, dear God, that was awesome. And Luke Harper and I thought for sure Randy Orton twisted his leg when Luke Harper super kicked him, which really begs the question about the super kick problem. Anyways, Luke Harper super kicked Randy Orton twice, tried to go for a discus clothesline, and ultimately fell to an RKO. And Randy Orton gets the victory, and it's a clean victory, which I'm glad for because, yeah, Randy Orton needs to look strong for his eventual main event match with Bray Wyatt. Whoops. Oh, though, of course, I already did spoil it at the beginning of this video. And now, I'm curious to know what Luke Harper's going to do after this. Like, the feud's kind of over for now, unless they're going to bring it back up. But I'm curious to know, are they going to use him for Bray Wyatt's first feud after WrestleMania? Because that would make the most sense to be Bray Wyatt's next target. Or at least Luke Harper to target Bray Wyatt. And Luke Harper has the potential to be a big star here. Like, he'll probably never be the face of the company because Vince McMahon doesn't like that look, probably. But Luke Harper has the talent, and he actually has surprising charisma on the mic. But ultimately, it will most likely depend on his look because Vince doesn't care about your talent. You need to look pretty. I'm talking to you, Roman Reigns. Everyone knows every woman knows you're attractive, but really, that's not what I care about. I want to see talent. Oh wait, Roman Reigns does have talent because he has shown multiple move sets, but ultimately Vince is obsessed with his looks. We gotta have guys looking awesome. Oh, who cares about all this logical talent stuff and the charisma on the mic? We gotta get their looks out. But yeah, that's a huge problem, and I really hope when Triple H takes over, he doesn't end up like Vince in terms of insanity. So yeah, Randy Orton and Luke Harper, they were so close to stealing the show. They should have had added 3 more minutes to get a 20-minute matchup here, but I was glad that this match was ultimately the send-off and breakout moment for Luke Harper. Like, he had a breakout moment with John Cena, though ultimately we all know how that storyline ended back in 2014 with the Wyatt family of Cena, but yeah, Luke Harper, yeah, he's going to most likely go after Bray Wyatt after WrestleMania, which I can't wait for. I can't wait for that. So let's get to a match that was pretty much the second most disappointing match, Naomi versus Alexa Bliss for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Yeah, like I said, it was disappointing, mostly because I knew, with the amount of time between 10 and 11, I knew that they were going to cut this match in half probably, and ultimately give Naomi the belt, and ultimately give Alexa Bliss the win. But I was surprised that Naomi actually won. Like, wait, you mean to tell me that when the champion's being booked weak, they'll actually drop the belt in favor of the stronger person? Hey, Raw, can you look at SmackDown again and really reassess your creative department? Like, you make Kevin Owens look the weakest guy ever and has some excuse to get the victory. Instead, whereas I was expecting Mickie James to get involved, she never did. Surprisingly, I was wondering why. I hope they address that later down the road. Now, Naomi is now SmackDown Women's Champion after another top rope maneuver. So, yeah, this is the 3rd time in a row. And now she's SmackDown Women's Champion. Is going to head into WrestleMania, provided nothing happens in between now and then, with the Women's Championship. So, let's see where this goes. And now she's going to head into her hometown as the SmackDown Women's Champion. So, is she going to be on the kickoff show or on the main show? Like, it's curious as to know what's going to happen on that, but I'm pretty certain the tag team and women's division of SmackDown Live is going to be on the kickoff show. And maybe the Raw one as well. Unless they cut the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal onto the kickoff show. So, yeah, Naomi and Alexa Bliss, yeah, it was the second most disappointing match of the night. But, let's get into the feud. The match to end all matches. The Elimination Chamber match. Bray Wyatt versus John Cena versus AJ Styles versus The Miz versus Dean Ambrose versus Baron Corbin for the WWE Championship. And my God, was this done correctly? However, there was one thing I really thought they should have done, which would have really added as a surprise factor. But I'll get to that in a minute. Now, AJ Styles and John Cena were the first ones in, continuing off where they picked up where they left off with Royal Rumble. And they once again trying to highlight that this was the greatest match in the history of sports entertainment. Clearly trying to say, yeah, Kenny Omega and what's your name? I can't pronounce it right, most likely. You got nothing on this 20-minute match. Oh, you had 40 minutes and you were based on pure wrestling? Huh, we got sports entertainment here. We hate the word wrestling. wait, how can a company that's a wrestling company be called sports entertainment? Like, I get the entertainment and sports part, but like, why are you so hateful towards the word wrestling? Did Vince, did it hurt you as a child? Like, a word hurt you? How? Why? I'll never understand that philosophy. Like, I keep thinking it's because Vince wanted to be a wrestler, but his dad said no, as it was said in the WWE Encyclopedia last time I checked, where Vince wanted to be a wrestler, but his dad forbidden it and wanted him to be a promoter. So, is it kind of because he resents his dad? Because if that is, it's kind of petty. Yeah, that's just a guess, though. And then later on, we got Baron Corbin. Then, firstly, the first man to enter the Elimination Chamber match, I don't know why I keep trying to say Royal Rumble, was Dean Ambrose. And he eventually lasted for over 20 minutes. Next, we got Bray Wyatt. And the fans just lost to just seeing Bray Wyatt again in a main event matchup. And now, considering how it ended, we'll see him again in the main event. But now, Bray Wyatt, and then we got Baron Corbin, who's just destroying everybody in his path. And then we finally got The Miz. Baron Corbin, finally was getting a big moment here, trying to assert his dominance. And he could have pinned everybody. Well, half of everybody. But that didn't happen. I was expecting at least one pinfall, maybe against the Intercontinental Champion Dean Ambrose, which is also a factor why I didn't count on Dean Ambrose winning. So, yeah, I was expecting Dean Ambrose to get eliminated, then probably The Miz or Baron Corbin, then AJ Styles, and it comes down to Bray Wyatt and John Cena, but I didn't get that. I got something else. But ultimately, there was one surprise factor they should have really took a risk on, since SmackDown's built on these risks. But what we did get was pretty cool, too. Firstly, Baron Corbin gets eliminated by a roll-up by Dean Ambrose since he was distracted by The Miz, and Baron Corbin has a hissy fit, where he goes into a rage and destroys Dean Ambrose. A lot. Which prompted for 2 minutes. Which prompted The Miz to capitalize on it and pin Dean Ambrose. And then he does the yes case to Cena and Bray Wyatt, which I'm still wondering, why didn't you do the entrance music at Royal Rumble? That was the wasted opportunity of a lifetime, Miz. Why, WWE? Why do you hate us so? That was so perfect. That was perfect for The Miz. I just hope he does that at WrestleMania now. Though after this, I pretty much lost faith on that. Anyways, The Miz is eventually eliminated by Super Cena. And then it comes down to Bray Wyatt, AJ Styles, and John Cena. And they're going at it. And John Cena was out for half of the match. Like, he fell and he was knocked out afterwards. And yet, I don't hear anybody saying, Cena sleeping! Cena sleeping! Whereas, Brock Lesnar was pretty much out for most of the match in the triple threat match, which I didn't complain about in my other video about the triple threat match at Royal Rumble 2015. But because Stone Cold said it was because of Roman, yeah, therefore Roman is going to be the main target. But Cena and Brock Lesnar being lazy? Oh, that's preposterous. I mean, granted, they're talented individuals, but they are complacent. But there is such a thing as complacent. And plus, fans can be cruel at times. Look what they're doing to Roman Reigns. I don't blame fans for feeling so angry, but when they think it's Roman Reigns' fault, even though he has no say whatsoever, whereas John Cena does, yeah, that should be a problem. And I hear the excuse all the time. Oh, we're blaming Vince by booing Reigns. But that's not working. So, let's get back to the chamber match. Afterwards, John Cena goes on top of one of the pods, and this is where someone almost deflated the mood a bit, because someone in the audience decided to express his hatred for Cena much more than I could ever do. especially since I'm not at that level of hating Cena, where he just says, "Kill yourself, Cena." I'm pretty sure Vince had an aneurysm, especially since I made live TV and on the network. So they're either going to mute it or they're just going to ignore it. Or they're going to do what they did with Ric Flair and Becky Lynch, where Ric Flair kisses Becky Lynch, and then everyone says it was sexual harassment. And then when Ric Flair did it, when they cut the footage, now it looked like Ric Flair slapped her. To at least to many people. Yeah. But moving on, John Cena fell before the might of the Eater of Worlds, and by God, that was shocking. But I also was thought, yeah, that's revenge from Bray Wyatt, and also from Ryan Ward since you destroyed everything. Since you tried to destroy SmackDown Live. Yeah, Bray Wyatt eliminates John Cena with Sister Abigail. He beats him clean. You know, something that should have happened a few years ago at WrestleMania, or Extreme Rules, or at Payback. But that didn't happen. So now Bray Wyatt, after 2 long years, finally gets his revenge. And by God, it was awesome. And I'm pretty sure Vince is pissed off that he has to do this. Especially Ryan Ward is just happy about it, since now the war for SmackDown's future is between Cena and Ryan Ward. Yeah, I'm just adding in a storyline of my own where Cena's trying to take control of SmackDown and Ryan Ward's trying to fight back, and the only way they're doing it is through booking. Like, that's the only interesting storyline I can think of that, other than the Wyatt storyline. Yeah, it could be because I just hate Cena that much, and I book, and like Ambrose is saying, he's the master of the political spin, but I'm not complaining. I'm just glad Cena lost this match. But I do want to say, it kind of makes what happened 2 weeks ago a waste of time, since they could have just had AJ Styles drop the belt to Bray Wyatt. That would have made more sense. But we got to have the creative control clause in his contract to interfere in all that. So now it comes down to Bray Wyatt and AJ Styles. This is the moment of truth, everybody. Will the Phenomenal One finally reclaim his throne? Or will the Eater of Worlds finally become God? The Eater of Worlds finally became God after so many years that's eluded him. He is now our WWE champion, and everything now with the past booking looks like a distant memory. I'm like, there's always going to be there, but I'm just looking at it now as a distant memory. Because now Bray Wyatt's finally got his justice. It's finally happened. And the fans are liking it. Bray Wyatt looks like he was going to cry. I actually think that. Because this is a match this is the moment he's been waiting for. It's every guy's dream to be WWE champion. And to see it finally happen for him, after so many misconceptional bookings, and so much illogical choices, and multiple burial attempts, really, really multiple burial attempts, and losing at WrestleMania twice, and not even wrestling at WrestleMania, but being buried by The Rock either way, and then not being put on SummerSlam, and then WWE admitting that they had no idea what to do with Bray Wyatt until they gave him Roman Reigns. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that really makes this victory all the more sweeter. And he hung with AJ Styles and John Cena, whereas Cena says that, oh, those other guys, I don't care about them. Me, AJ Styles, and the Chamber are the main event. Wow, way to dismiss the other combatants, even though Ambrose has beaten you clean, The Miz main evented with you, Bray Wyatt has faced you numerous times in the past, and has gotten your head psychologically multiple times. But fuck those guys. I'm like, yeah, Baron Corbin's never fought you, so that should have made him more dangerous. But F those guys, we don't care. I don't care about this. This is all about me, John Cena. But by God, we finally got our main event, unless something happens in the next 7 weeks. Not John Cena. It was going to be John Cena versus Randy Orton. But now it looks like we're getting Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. The accumulation of the Wyatt family storyline that began since late August and early September. We're finally going to get this big match, and it's much more anticipated and feels more worthy of a main event slot than it happened at No Mercy. Man, that's going to be an awesome match. And the story's there as well. And Bray Wyatt's laughter at the end, yeah, I think part of him wanted to cry. Because considering what he went through for the last several years after when 2014 came around, yeah, that really meant something. I'm pretty sure that means a lot to him. And really, I don't think he would have gotten this opportunity until way later in the future if the brand split didn't happen. So that's the biggest positive I can give this brand split. Like, they finally gave Bray Wyatt his justice. So I like to call this pay-per-view Bray Wyatt's Justice. The crowning moment of Bray Wyatt. He went from being Husky Harris. I'm still surprised that that's how it all began. And in fact, I'm even more surprised how he changed his look. Then went back to developmental. First he was in developmental, then he went to the main roster. Well, first he went to NXT, the show, which really sucked. Then he went to main roster with the Nexus. Then got sent back to developmental because John Cena was offended by his lack of an apology. Or at least not trying hard enough, apologizing for poking him in the eye. Well, actually, that was done to the officials, and I think Vince McMahon as well. And they wanted to fire Husky Harris, but Triple H says, no, that kid has potential. I see a champion in him one day. And by God, Triple H was right on the money. Husky Harris transforms into Bray Wyatt in FCW, carries that over to NXT, the new developmental show, and then returns to the main roster in dramatic fashion, beats the best wrestlers, tag teams with the best wrestlers, goes through John Cena, then has to be buried by him, because we can't have Cena turn to the dark side or lose cleanly at that time. Then he flounders around for a bit and yada yada yada, misses shows that he's not allowed to attend to because booking reasons, then don't have anything going for him. Oh man, I've already said this, so I don't feel like repeating all that. But it just is so great to see Bray Wyatt finally get the dream, finally get the keys to the kingdom. And now we finally get a worthy main event match instead of Cena versus Orton 76. Yeah, that's actually the numbers. Someone documented all this on Bleacher Report, I think, or somewhere else, where someone documented that this happened 75 times since 2007. So this would have been the 76th time, and I'm glad that's not the case. So yeah, we finally get to see Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt, provided nothing happens for the next 7 weeks. So this is going to be an interesting road to WrestleMania for SmackDown. And it seems Baron Corbin's going to go out to Dean Ambrose's Intercontinental Championship. But I don't know what John Cena's going to do. I'm pretty sure he and Styles are going to feud with the Wyatt family. And then Bray Wyatt's going to be betrayed by Randy Orton. And then, so basically so for the next couple of weeks, I bet, it's going to be Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, Luke Harper, AJ Styles, and John Cena all fighting over the WWE Championship. With Wyatt and Orton working together, Luke Harper trying to take out Orton and Wyatt, and AJ Styles and Cena fighting over trying to get the belt back. So that could be an interesting direction if they really go forward with that. Since AJ Styles says he's still owed a number one contendership match, and now John Cena is with a one-on-one opportunity. So are they going to make a triple threat match, or are they going to give Bray Wyatt 2 separate matches to beat them with? So yeah, this is going to be an interesting road to WrestleMania 33. I keep thinking wait. Yeah, I think WrestleMania 33. I keep trying to remember. Yeah, WrestleMania 33. It's going to be an interesting road to WrestleMania 33 for SmackDown. Let's see what Raw does. Though with all the part-timers, I'm pretty sure they're not even going to try at this point. Especially since whereas WWE is investing in the future, for SmackDown Live, Raw is just relying on the part-timers of the past. Since we know Kevin Owens is going to drop the Universal belt to Goldberg, and then have Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar round 3, 4 if you count the Royal Rumble appearance. So yeah, that was my thoughts on the WWE Elimination Chamber event 2017. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more. And Bray Wyatt, congratulations!